So let's talk about this border thing now, okay? Speaking of dog whistles, which is like the left's, woo, you know, dog whistle, oh my God, now, dog whistle, oh my God. There was something that Donald Trump said, two things that I do not like recently. And it's just like, what the hell, dude? I mean, excuse my French, but don't give anyone the excuse to continue their psyop, their psychological operation on the people of this country, trying to get rid of you any way they can. Don't play into that. Now, since I always look for the hidden, and I believe he is no dummy, you might find that funny, but no. I think he knows he should not play into the hands of people who accuse him of using dog whistles. I mean, come on. Are we that much of simpletons here? I mean, we've been really damaged by subversion, by state actors. We really have. And I'm just wondering, when are we going to get to the point where everybody realizes the propaganda, just like in the old Soviet Union, the Gulag Archipelago, and we're going to all like, look at each other like, you know, it's all fake, and it's going to be a lot more obvious, I think. But I think it's just going to take longer than we thought. He said, talking about those who are either sending up a wave of migrants or those who are coming in the wave of migrants.
15, 16 million people into our country. When they do that, we got a lot of work to do. They're poisoning the blood of our country. That's what they've done. They poison mental institutions and prisons all over the world, not just in South America, not just the 3 or 4 countries that we think about, but all over the world. They're coming into our country from Africa, from Asia, all over the world. They're pouring into our country. Nobody's even looking at them. They just come in. The crime is going to be tremendous. The terrorism is going to be. And then we built a tremendous piece of the wall, and then we're going to build more.
God, I know people who think that Trump is obsessed with bloodlines, and they think he's racist because he talked about having German blood. And it's just like, come on, guys. Let's just put it this way. I don't subscribe to the dog whistle thing. I take him for his substance, not just his words. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, because a lot of people who say, I don't listen to what the media says about him. I don't like him because of his own words. I guess in a way, it's so abhorrent that they can't listen to the speeches that are actually really good. So it's a mess. But yeah, he said they're poisoning our blood. So I've agonized over this for 2 days. And this is the thing, though. Democracy Now!, which is that left-leaning show, they're good journalists, but they have this spin of omission when it comes to the refugees. They're not talking about the demographics of the refugees, how they're all military age males. This by the Pew Research Center only goes to 2021, but this goes to 2023. Things have only grown, and adults are still way above anyone else. The pink bar is 2020. The dark blue is 2021. The light blue is 2022, and the green is 2023. While the Customs and Border Patrol website does not show a total for 2023 yet, the New York Times says it obtained numbers showing a grand total of 2.5 million. Do you realize that's just a little less than 1/5 of the 11 million that have been estimated to be in the country for, the last 20 years? This is a monthly record from 2021 to 2024. Notice how the column on the left has expanded to more than 150,000. It's worth noting that the Border Patrol does their statistics from September to September fiscal year. Take that 2.5 million from 2023 and compare it to the 303,000 from 2017. If I didn't know any better, I'd say it was tied to the national debt. In terms of the brazenness of Biden mushrooming these statistics exponentially. Now, this comparison is important. So this is 2012 through 2017. Look at the left column. These are encounters with people crossing illegally. It only goes up to 80,000. You can literally read the approach of Obama versus Trump in this graph. So the top sky blue one is 2017. It starts very high by pre-Biden standards, but then it precipitously drops and dips down like the Big Dipper, then levels off at a kind of middle of the road amount. The green is 2012 at the lowest. Then we have 2013, and then the yellow is 2014, the surge of unaccompanied minors that resulted in much trafficking. Then we have the gray 2015, and finally the orange 2016. How they're coming from every country on the planet, how many of them haven't been vetted, and if we hear, oh, there's terrorists in there, people just make fun of it because there's been like a programming for people to make fun of any type of fear about the border. I used to do it. It's terrible. I actually got schooled by people who live in a border county in 2016, right before the election. And it was amazing. I got spanked. They were just like, we have ranches here. The crime is off the chain. The cartel is here. They're trafficking. People are found dead, And yet you think, why can't we retain that in our heads and do something about it? Because programming. There's a reason they call it Our Programming is Sponsored by on TV. This time period is difficult, but we all have many, many good choices to make. And if we don't always make the best choice, we also need to realize that shame is the enemy. You can tell I've been thinking a lot lately. Shame is the enemy. Shame does not produce anything. You realize that? It is the most useless of all toxic emotions. So I finally thought to myself, well, the composition of the people coming it's basically, think about this, it's the people that these countries don't want or are not treating well, right? It's not climate refugees. No, that's a lie. There are reporters who say that we are in a pretty tough spot with climate, but that these refugees are not due to climate. I'm telling you, if you zoom in on the details, it's not because of climate. That's a lie. Now, is it because of war? Yes. Our wars. Can it be any more obvious? I have to look at the demographics. I tried to a little bit, but Michigan and Minnesota are where all of the refugees from Ethiopia and Sudan came, during Barack Obama's administration. I think also during the younger Bush. And you can become a citizen a lot quicker than you might think. And you get credit for the time you've been in the country. Yeah. And, I think you guys might have heard that now with all these people coming in asking for asylum, they can't determine that right away. Or at least that's how it's always been. There were only like 600 immigration judges in the country. Biden actually just added like 200, right? But even with that, these people who are getting court dates, their court dates that they're getting are, one of them had a court date 12 years in the future, 2035. Do you understand? And that's what the informal name of catch and release is that Trump was talking about. And yet you had journalists going, no, there's no such thing as catch and release. Okay? He's so stupid. Yeah. Okay. We had more people lifted out of poverty during his term than since like the 1960s, in some cases, in some demographics, the 1950s. Biden may have added a lot of jobs. We didn't have any jobs after COVID. An unprecedented thing. Worse than the Great Depression. You really want to look at Trump's results? Look at the poverty level. Look at it. The percentage goes down. It didn't budge under anyone else. All the way back to the 60s, the 50s in some cases. Some cases the 70s. We're talking about, children, and then it goes up with the age groups. And black people, brown people, actually black people did way better under Trump than any other administration, and they know it. I mean, obviously not everybody can do well, but like there were enough people who were like, wow, I'm not being harassed like for wanting to be an entrepreneur. I'm not being harassed for being original and being different, and wanting to do this and having a vision. You know how harassed I am for having this vision, trying to change the culture and be a thought leader? That's really what I'm trying to do. I think people in the beginning, when I would mention stuff like, oh, Trump said something bad, they would immediately leave because they thought that I was anti-Trump. People are trying to figure out if I'm anti-Trump or pro-Trump. But the thing is, that's the whole thing, guys. I'm a journalist. I'm a good one. Good journalists are aware of their biases, and it's excruciating, but they work hard to fight them. And these things do matter. Trump saying that the migrants are poisoning our blood is very problematic. Now, why do I think he did it? Okay, I'm getting to that point. He did it, I think, because he has to use shock value to stay in the news. He has to use shock value to constantly be in the headlines. None of those people who are part of the swamp, none of them want him to be in the headlines. You realize it's in spite of them that he's in the headlines. He has to shock, or he won't be in the headlines. That's the only thing I can think of, but I do think that the only way to heal our nation is through the truth. Maybe not all at once, okay, that's fine. But again, give truth a chance. That's my new slogan for 2024, I'm putting it on some shirts. And the second thing he said he called leftists who live in this country, like I think who join Antifa and all that, he called them vermin. Now the definition of vermin is an animal that can give you a disease, like a rabid animal, or I forgot the word for mice and rats. Come on. I'm drawing a blank. MSNBC, oh my God, they're still talking about that, like about vermin, because it is not a good term. It's considered what people use when you're going into sort of a possible genocide scenario. Okay, and now I'm thinking it's actually predictive programming. It's actually programming. Well, he might be using it to stay in the headlines. So I'll let you marinate on that. But you know that I don't really care how minute, how minor, or how against your bias what I'm sharing is. That's the whole point of being a journalist. And that's my brand. So if you want to be part of that brand, I ask you to stay. If you want your bias confirmed, just check in once in a while. That'd be cool. But okay, have a great Friday. Peace. Hello, my friends. One more thing. If you like this content, please consider sharing it. Also, hit the like button, and it would be awesome if you would follow or subscribe. And give truth a chance. See you soon.